I am telling you the bovine mama drama in my life right now. I don't even have that many cows, and I can't with these animals right now. One of the last videos I posted was last Sunday when Red finally solved the question of who's the baby daddy when it came to her baby. So she went into labor on Sunday morning last week, and the answer was finally solved, and it was a Hereford that was the baby daddy, which is fine. She had a heifer, so that heifer will be added to our herd. They just went out to pasture. We just put them out to pasture. So for those that may be watching, for point of reference, we are in New York State. And generally, this is when our cows will go out to pasture. So I know that other areas of the country look drastically different, and we have to feed hay pretty much from the end of October through late April. That's pretty standard for us here in the location of the state that we are in. The reason I mentioned those two previous things, that they just went out to pasture, is because they were in here for about a week after that baby was born, along with all of the other cows. In addition to this cow who's giving me the evil eye behind me, this is Lucy. I will talk about Lucy in a second. And Lily, who is over there. She is very pregnant, and she looks like she could go literally any day. Of course, with high quality Herefords, the first time they calve, you can't always judge when they're going to calve based on the udder mammary development, because it's so much highly recessed inside of that cow. So I would think that she probably can go in the next day or two, and I'm just praying that she goes before Wednesday morning when I leave. Last thing my husband needs while he's juggling everything else is having to deal with a first calf heifer. I digress. So let me give you a dose of my bovine mama drama that I've had over the last week. So Lucy over here, I didn't really go into detail in that video that I made on Sunday. Lucy had her calf on Saturday morning, except instead of using the intelligent side of her brain, she decided to drop her calf out in the mud. Now, I have been watching these cows like a hawk, and Red was definitely very close to calving, and she calved on Sunday. And Lucy, I thought I had a few more days because Lucy wasn't really bagging up. She didn't look like she was that close. Well, we were gone on Saturday morning, we came back, and the calf was beyond saving, but we still gave it our best shot, and I worked on that calf for about 3 hours, and it proceeded to not live. My poor husband is carrying this thing from out in the pasture in the mud that they were in into the barn. Had I known that she was that close, I would have just shut the gate and it would have been end of story. She could have just calved in this barn with all the other cows, and she's a big B word, so she would have been able to fight them off. It would have been fine. Anyway, so she had a bull calf, and I thought that Lucy was carrying an artificially inseminated calf that was a product of my breeding. As it turns out, as I'm doing my life-saving efforts on this calf, I noticed that it has massive eye patches over both eyes. Literally looks like the singer from Kiss. Big brown patches over both eyes. Well, that's a trait of one of the yearling bulls I had last year that I sold for breeding. Turns out he was proven, unbeknownst to all of us. So that was a good surprise. These cows are tall. Lucy's my biggest cow. I am shocked that that bull was able to cover her. We don't do creep feed. We don't do grain. We don't do silage. All they get is grass, hay, and grass and loose mineral. Where there is a will, there is a way. And he proved that to me. So every single male that I'm getting this year is getting castrated, and I'm gonna feed them out and put them in the freezer. Anyway, so we lost the calf, and we are in an area of the state that has a lot of dairy farms. So I have friends that are dairy farmers or no dairy farmers that could find me a calf. Lucy is a very obese 9-year-old cow, and I held off on breeding Lucy until April or June of last year because I wanted April calves. Well, that entire situation last weekend just proved to me that it doesn't matter when I breed my cows to calve, they can lose them at any time. So, one of my very good ag teacher friends that I've known for many, many years, I'm texting her and she calls me and says, hey, I should be able to get you a calf. I have sources, we can get you a calf. And I ended up settling on this beautiful little black baby over here. Her father also helped her. Thank you, Gary. I will tag him in this video, but I was so appreciative that they were able to find me a heifer. I did pay for it, but they were able to find me a heifer that potentially could eventually be added into my herd, because right now my females, the replacement's not going so good because I'm getting all bulls. So anyway, this beautiful little black baby back here is an Angus Holstein cross, sired by AI Angus sire. Now, I don't know which AI Angus sire. All I know is that this calf should be pretty decent quality. And personally, growing up, my father had a lot of Holstein Hereford crosses, and they produced the best calves. They literally gained like no other. So although having a half Holstein, half Angus in my herd is not ideal, most of the black cows I usually have are red Angus crossed with Wagyu. I can make this work. The problem is that Lucy decided she was going to bully Red and try to steal her calf. So after Red had her calf, and the calf was like 6 hours old, literally the calf was in this pen because we were putting them in front of the headlocks to keep them safe. This calf was in this freestall area for maybe 2 hours max. I come out and I go to lock them in the headlocks so that they can all feed their calves. And I noticed that she's mama mooing at this little red Angus Hereford calf. Yeah, I forgot that Lucy was that big of a B word, that she bullies Red, even though Red is also pretty chunky and obese. And she's an Angus. She has low tolerance for pretty much anything. Also, we had a horrible winter this year. The first winter in many, many years that delayed our ability to put the cows out on pasture because our high tensile fence was broken. And my husband coaches baseball and our time has been limited. So I couldn't even turn the red Angus and her calf out right away to prevent that bond from occurring. Finally today, hi Ellie, what are you doing? You're not supposed to be in here, you naughty girl. Yeah, what are you doing? You're naughty. Oh, thank you. I know what you've been eating. So finally today, we were able to finish fixing the fence. We got the cows turned out, and now begins the bonding process with that black calf and the Lucy. You can see the calf is now wandering towards Lucy. What I found though with this Holstein Angus cross is that it doesn't really have the drive to find mama, and it will try to nurse off of everyone. So this is the best case scenario. However, this could also go south very quickly if Lily pops out a baby and then decides that she's not fit for motherhood and doesn't take to it right away, and then Lucy attempts to steal it. So that's the one wild card. So yeah, and I have a yearling bull out in the pasture right now with the cows that we just turned out, and my theory is he's a registered Hereford. He's actually pretty decent quality. If he wants to cover my cows this year, feel free. You know, at this point, I just need calves to live so that I can sell them, so that I can cover my expenses. I do feel kind of bad for Lucy, but she also had a dry, warm barn where she could have dropped her calf. And instead, she went out into the mud pit. There isn't a square inch of dry space out there, and decided to drop her calf out there. And on top of everything else, we're getting ready for state convention. So my husband gets to fight with her and try to get her to accept that little black calf.